Have you ever not trusted your boss? It's a terrible feeling, doesn't leave room for growth and expansion, and you join a company to grow and expand. And because of the power dynamic with your boss, it's nearly impossible to be able to work it out. Which leaves you with a very big question. Is it a situation that is of nature or nurture? Meaning, is your boss inherently untrustworthy? If they are, this is a nature situation. They're going to have to work on themselves to change the way that they show up in the workplace. It's going to be a very difficult situation for you to be in. Now, if it's a nurture situation, this is good news because change is highly possible. So if you're a manager, you own a company, you have a big team, a small team, or if you're on the receiving end of this, it's important that you look out for situations, work situations, where proper training is in place, where you're developing as a leader, where you're learning communication skills, so that when you bump up against an issue with your boss or with somebody else, you can move about it in a healthy and constructive manner. So in today's video, I'm going to give you 3 common scenarios that lead to this and why companies often find themselves in this place of dysfunction versus having constructive conversations and being able to build trust from within. But before I do that, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications. My name is Adam Piendis. I'm a leadership coach. I've been coaching for over 25 years, worked with people from all over the world to teach them ways to build trust and resilience within themselves and with others. And I want to do the same for you here today. So if you don't have trust, you have dysfunction, as I just mentioned before. And dysfunction is going to lead the way with all your relationships. And it starts really from within. I've been in situations in the past where I haven't trusted myself, and I find that I often bring in situations that feed into that distrust. So I want you to be cognizant of the fact that you have to work on trust within yourself first before you can work on it with others. All right. The first common scenario that leads into this feeling of distrust is excitement. Now, this may make no sense whatsoever because you might feel like, well, I want to be excited about my job. But the problem with excitement is that it only lasts for a certain period of time, right? You come into a job, you're excited about it, the people seem super cool, you like the mission, the values of the company, and you seem to have a lot in common, and you can ride that excitement wave for a while until conflict hits, until you get into a disagreement. And then what do you do? And if you're in the situation where you don't trust your boss and they haven't had the proper training, well, you're left feeling isolated, alone, frustrated, angry, and there's really nowhere to go. So excitement is cool. It's a great energy to have, but it's really important that you step into situations where you're going to have the proper communication techniques in place. You're going to establish a trusting relationship with your boss right off the bat. Or if you are managing other people, you have to make that a priority so that you build a trusting culture that will last over time. Because conflict's going to happen, disagreements are going to happen. You have to find ways to work through them effectively. All right, the second common reason that leads to you not trusting your boss is company growth. Now, again, you want to be in a situation where the company's growing, but especially with fast-growing companies, a common scenario is that revenue's coming in, more business is coming in, things are exciting, you're looking at the bottom line, but you're not actually training your people to move through conflict that happens along the way. And so new positions open up, and you have to insert new managers into situations. These are managers that haven't been trained to be managers. They haven't had effective leadership training. They don't have the emotional intelligence necessary to be able to manage other people. And then all sorts of conflict breaks out, right? They feel overwhelmed. They're stressed. They've taken on too much. And again, they don't have that training to be able to connect with the people on their team. And if you're on their team, this is when you really suffer because there's no open lines of communication and everyone's go, 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 go. And you're feeling conflicted, frustrated, angry. You start talking to colleagues and friends. And now you're in a really difficult situation because you feel unheard and it doesn't feel like a safe environment. So this can lead to not trusting your boss because even though the company's growing, proper training isn't in place. So again, it becomes really important that if you're in this situation, that you find ways to have that effective communication, or maybe you need to seek out a situation elsewhere. Now, if the company's growing and expanding and things are exciting, it can be a precarious spot to be in. So it becomes important in this situation to learn how to build trust within yourself. Understand what are the things in your work environment that are gonna trigger frustration, that are gonna trigger anger. And if you are feeling these things, perhaps you can find a coach to work with, or a therapist, or a mentor that's going to help guide you and help develop those muscles within yourself to build that trust and to build that strength, or to find ways to have constructive conversations with the people around you. All right, before I get into the third common situation that leads into not trusting your boss, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications so you can be alerted when new videos are released. And if any of these situations feel familiar to you, please let me know in the comments below, and share ways that you've worked through a situation that feels similar. All right, the third common scenario that happens, or a situation that leads to distrust, is that you are conflict avoidant. Now, the first two situations I gave you were more on the macro level, or more on kind of situational, relational experiences that you might have within an organization. Being conflict avoidant is something that exists within you, and is something that you have to be honest with yourself and examine. Why do I choose to move away from conflict? Because what ends up happening is that if you find it difficult to have conflict with others, or have a difficult relationship or conversation, is that the challenge of that issue is going to come up down the road if you don't address it in that moment. So you can choose to avoid and avoid and avoid, but eventually you're going to have to embrace the conflict, and you're going to have to face it head on. Otherwise, all the conflicts tend to stack on one another, and then you release it with lots of anger and frustration, and it comes out in ways that aren't going to feel good for you and aren't going to feel good for the people around you. So if you tend to be conflict avoidant, ask yourself, what is it about the conflict that I'm scared of? How can I develop the strength to be able to move towards conflict? What are the parts of me that I'm not familiar with that perhaps I can ask other people to give me some feedback that are going to help me embrace conflict versus being avoidant all the time? Now, if this feels unfamiliar to you, then you've lived a great life, and I just encourage you to keep embracing conflict, because this is ultimately what helps you build trust within yourself and build trust with others. All right, hopefully these common scenarios were helpful, and really they're just to give you things to look out for as you either enter into a new job, or if you find yourself in a situation that feels difficult and challenging. What do you do to move forward? Well, the first thing is to build that trust within yourself, which will help you have more constructive conversations. And if you are managing a team or you have a business, it's important and imperative that you think about these things, and that you insert the proper training techniques and programs that are going to help your teams and your organization build trust for the long haul. And ultimately, this is what allows you to be successful. All right, if you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications, where I'll be talking more about these emotionally intelligent themes, and really how to deal with conflict and build that trust and resilience from within yourself and with others. But until then, I hope you have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care.